The Rockabilly's done. I'm going to take you through the last steps it took to get this thing completed. And today we're going to attempt to run 1,000 gates with it. What's going on, everyone? This should be the final episode on the Rockabilly. And this will be a big one because now we have to take it from a running but unfinished video or roller to the final version. And I'm excited for that. We're going to go the full route though, including carbon fiber. So that's the first step for here. I've got the carbon fiber mold printed that's included with the Rockabilly files. And it's a multi-piece deal. You can see that insert there. It goes in from the bottom and attaches with one screw. And that's because there's an undercut here on that front lip, and that can cause the part when it's finished to be locked into the mold. So when you're demolding, that's when you'll remove that piece so that the part should be able to come out easier, and then you can take that last piece of insert out. And the first step to doing one of these carbon projects is that after you have the finished mold, you need to make the silicone insert. And I use a 2-part silicone mix to do that. And when I put that in there, I feel like some of that may be getting left in the plastics and things like that. So I'm gonna try and line the mold with some cling wrap and then pour my my actual silicone in there to be formed up. And then we'll be able to take that out and I won't have that residual left in the mold. I need to mix my silicone now. I did an analysis of this in CAD to figure out the volume, and it's about 164 milliliters. So I'm gonna mix 170 milliliters. So 85 milliliters of part A, 85 of point B. I do love when CAD gives me the numbers that are correct, that you can count on. Now we wait 24 hours. Mold prep is in, and now I'm going to line it with some shrink wrap because some of the guys have been having good luck with this. The mold prep will still allow any resin that gets through in any way, still allow everything to come out easily. That's the idea of still doing this and this itself. But the goal is to use the cling wrap to make sure that I'm isolating any silicone or the impregnation of the mold release into the resin itself to hopefully make the clear coat be able to stick better onto the panel once it's done. So I applied some vacuum pressure over where the mold little insert assembles, and it allowed me to get that all flattened down really well.
Cases.
So I got my painting done on everything. You can see I left some of the carbon exposed, and I did a red and then did some like white detail lines and then did a clear coat over top. The clear coat also has some like pearl in it, some gold and blue pearl flake. And then last night, I didn't plan on this, but I decided to do a new roof that is done somewhat C7 inspired as well, with kind of that hard drip edge rail in the center bubble, or negative, kind of how it goes. So anyway, I decided to knock that out. I just printed this in ABS glass fiber, then sanded it a little bit and shot it with the same paint and clear coat, the whole deal, just to give it something different. Why not? This is something that I'll upload here shortly. Now I'm on to the side panel. So I've got these bolted up. At this point, these pieces here, this front extension and this rear extension, they need to be bent. So when it's on the chassis, I'll lay it over on its side. So I use like these dental picks, and I'll just run it down the inside here, just on the outside of that inner bar, and I'll do it on the front and the back of both sides, and that'll give me the line where I know I need to break the panel at. I have also installed these underside panels. You can see there's just 2 screws that go in there. These 2 screws are previously used by the seat mounts, so that's why you just use those 2. And then you can see there's a little cutout and a larger cutout. The little one goes towards the front. That's where the front link mount screw is. The rear gives you some clearance depending on what upper link hole you decide to use. So got those on both sides, and that helps get your wiring all tucked in and clean. One other thing I did last night was I changed out my dash, because I recently received the Furatech Micro Tesla display, which is installed there on the back side of the dash, so it gets kind of tucked in, and that gives me a little bit of like a telemetry style. So you can see that it's got a display. Now the whole Furatech system can be programmed from that unit. There's a little like scroll wheel on the top. However, it's not accessible on mine. It's all enclosed, but I can still do everything on that ESC from my phone with the Bluetooth. So I didn't really care as much about that. I just wanted the detail of that dashboard in there. So that's kind of the direction that I went. I still need to add a steering wheel and some gauge details, and then I need to add my shifters. All the panels are on now. The one thing I needed to do is that since this was a VRD carbon kit to start, I'm going to swap out the rear portal gears from the standard to the overdrive so that I reduce the amount of overdrive that this has. So the standard gear, which it has, is a 1.6 to 1 ratio. These are a 1.4. So that'll get me back closer to where I want to be, which will put me at 21%, because that's what the transfer case gears are. The Rockabilly's done. We're back pulling into Cisco now. It's been 6 or so years since I've crawled an event here. I'm super excited. Today, we're going to attempt to do 1,000 gates with it. We'll see how far we make it. All the way back in the back section here, back where Axial Fest stuff used to be. People are set up camping kind of all over. Oh, love this place.
No video.
It was pretty perfect. So we're about, I'd estimate 100 gates in or so. Just kind of broke away from the pack a little bit. Trail runs like this with cool courses, you get some tough spots and it can kind of bottleneck up, but got past a little bit of that and kind of out in a little open section. Some great terrain. As I said, about 100 gates in, I'm estimating. They're not numbered, so I don't know exactly, but so far the PureTech system's doing all right. A couple of weird little glitches here and there, but hasn't been too bad. The temps are doing all right. I put that fan on it last night just to be a little bit more careful. I've opened the telemetry app on my phone that the PureTech has built in, and my temperature probe on my radio is reading slightly hotter than it is reading, but that makes me feel probably a little bit better anyway. So I've got an alarm set on my radio, so if it hits 115 degrees, it'll beep on my radio and let me know. Currently it says 95.18, and if you sit and let that fan blow on it, it does consistently drop, so seems to be working pretty well. It's got plenty of pep. When you want to move out, it'll do so, and car's doing well. As I mentioned, some great terrain. I think that we might be able to get through all the courses if things keep going well like this. Kind of a fun section here. Let's try this out. So I believe we're on the home stretch of the first course. A great course all the way through. I mean, some really nice technical lines, as well as just some nice, you know, flow sections, things like that. Still got through everything. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't ride the airboat ferry that they had set up, because there was a line for that and I didn't want to wait. So now we're walking the kind of the access road that parallels the interstate back towards camp. But they still have a bunch of nice gates paralleling this. So makes it fun on the way back. Next to the gorgeous river section. Too good. Gonna go back, have some lunch, then hit the second course. So far, everything's going pretty well. Had a couple of like brownout situations. I'm not using the BEC that's built in, so not 100% sure what's happened there right now. Temps are staying pretty good though. So back when I thought I was on the access road back towards camp, I was quite wrong. There's a lot of trail left, and we've determined that we all started the wrong way. So I was about 2 hours in when I got to here just a minute ago, and ran into the other group of people coming the other way basically, and they said they were on the trail for about... Ow! That hurt. God damn it. So this terrain in here is wildly slick. It's just polished. Anyway, fell on my ass. We're still trekking though. I'm glad nobody was around me. That would have hurt my ego. Good thing I can upload it to the internet still. Dude, seriously, this is like polished marble. So slick. I'm probably gonna feel that later. Anyway, I was running the course backwards. I think I still have about 45 minutes of this course left, which will put this at around 3 hours, if I was to guess. Then we have one course left. Yep. This is the start, but it goes that way. I'd wondered where that start was. Starting the next course. Brandon and the kids. Came back down, put our feet in the water. I got Liam with me. Liam, say hi. And made the trip back down, running the first course again. So everyone's hanging out by the water. Pretty awesome. Where'd you just put that lizard? In your pocket? Cool.
We can blur it out.
Yeah, I'm not that good at it. And now I'm having jalapeno lemonade. The The rig survived everything. We did the full 1,000 gates or however many they did, and then went back and did some more, and the whole truck just did fantastic. It's absolutely a little worse for wear. We put it through its paces. You know, there's scratches and mud and dings. That ABS glass fiber roof held up fantastic even after some pretty good punishment. So super happy with how that turned out. If you wanted to just print body panels, including the hood, which the hood you don't have to do carbon, there is a printable one in the download, but everything did great. The Furatech system, I've got a couple of weird things that happen. I'm going to talk to Furatech about that and figure out just what I need to look at or update possibly. The rear battery lid I broke when I was trying to close the lid one time, and I lost the back half of that, so I'll have to reprint a new one of those. All the little scale hardware in there adds a pretty easy weak point through there. Little lesson on stress risers, but that's just how that goes. Everything else, this side looks so much better than the other side. I must have been really hard on that one. Now, as far as the portal version versus the straight axle, you know, I don't know which one I like to drive more. The straight axle is kind of the way that, I don't know. I really love the straight axle version. I feel like it just depends on where I'm going. And if I'm competing, obviously I have to use that because that's the one that's legal. But they're both really fun to drive. The straight axle is so planted, but the portal clearance is nice at times. So, you know, I can't say which one I like one way or the other more, but no matter what, I love these trucks. Super happy to have one of each, really. But that's going to do it for this series. I hope you all enjoyed the in-depth version of this. It was, you know, in the weeds, in the details, but we got some payoff at the end. There was actual running footage. You saw the truck done and out there. So that does it for this series. That puts a bow on it. Looking forward to starting the next build along soon, which is the actual process of where you guys work alongside me as I'm doing it. The next one is going to be more U4 based, so a little bit more speed. Looking forward to getting that announced before too long. But if you're interested in that, follow along, subscribe, hit the like button, comment. Appreciate all of you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.